You've been carrying the weight of the world in silence. Everyone around you thought you were okay because you smiled, showed up, and played the role they needed you to play. They didn't see the quiet cracks forming underneath, the sleepless nights, the heavy thoughts, the way your heart felt like it was running on empty. As an INFJ, you've mastered the art of appearing calm while chaos storms inside you. People assumed your strength meant you were unshakable, but they never noticed how much it cost you to keep it all together. And the hardest part, you wanted someone to see it, to look past the mask, to realize that the person they relied on was breaking silently, but no one did. And carrying that invisible weight slowly became too much to bear. You felt like breaking down would disappoint everyone who believed in your strength. You've carried yourself like the strong one for so long that the thought of breaking down feels like failure. People rely on you. They see you as the calm, collected, dependable one, the person who can handle anything. And because of that, you feel like you're not allowed to fall apart. As an INFJ, you're painfully aware of how others see you, and part of you doesn't want to shatter that image. You think, if they see me break, they'll feel let down, like I wasn't who they thought I was. So you swallowed the pain, pushed the tears back, and keep moving through the motions of life. But inside, the weight builds, because pretending you're unshakable doesn't make the hurt disappear, it just traps it inside, where it slowly chips away at you. And the hardest part is knowing that the world praises the strength they see without ever realizing the cost of the pain you hide. You became so used to being the listener that you forgot how to be heard. You've spent so much of your life holding space for others that it became second nature to listen, comfort, and absorb their pain. People come to you because they know you'll understand, because you make them feel safe. And as an INFJ, that's your gift. You listen deeply without judgment, and you give pieces of your energy to help others heal. But somewhere along the way, you forgot what it feels like to be on the other side of that conversation. You've gotten so used to nodding, reassuring, and saying, "It's okay, I'm fine," that your own voice has gone quiet. When you finally do try to speak, the words feel heavy, foreign, like maybe no one will hear them the way you've heard theirs. You've built a world where everyone feels understood except you. And that silence is its own kind of loneliness, the kind that makes you wonder if anyone even notices how much you need to be heard too. You laughed around others, but felt numb when you were alone. You've learned how to perform happiness so well that no one questions it. Around others, you laugh at the right moments, make jokes, and play along like everything is fine. You've become the person who lightens the mood, who keeps things moving because that's what everyone expects from you. But when the laughter fades and the room empties, the silence hits differently. Alone, the numbness creeps in, and the smile you wore for everyone else feels like a mask you can finally take off. As an INFJ, your inner world is always running deep, and that depth can feel heavy when no one else sees it. The contrast between who you are in public and how you feel in private is exhausting. You give the world your best energy, then come home to a quiet emptiness that no one knows exists. And the hardest part is pretending that laughter means happiness, when deep down, it's just a shield to hide the pain you don't know how to share. You didn't ask for help because you didn't want to be a burden. You've carried so much on your own because the thought of asking for help makes you feel guilty. As an INFJ, you're naturally the one who supports others, who listens, who carries the weight no one else sees. But when it comes to your own struggles, you hesitate. You tell yourself, they have their own problems. I don't want to add mine. Deep down, you fear that opening up will make you a burden, that people will see your pain as an inconvenience instead of a cry for connection. So you keep it inside. You smile, you nod, you say you're fine, even when you're quietly breaking. And every time you choose silence, the weight gets heavier. It's not that you don't want help, you just want someone to see without you having to ask. Because the truth is, you've always been there for everyone else. You just wish someone would show up for you in the same way. You trained yourself to hold it together, even when it hurt. You've spent years teaching yourself how to keep everything under control, no matter what's happening inside. As an INFJ, you've learned to swallow your emotions, to steady your voice, to move through the day as if nothing is wrong. Even when your heart feels like it's breaking, you became an expert at self-control because you thought it was the only way to survive. Falling apart felt dangerous, like it would undo everything you've worked so hard to hold together. So you pushed your feelings down, told yourself to keep going, and wore that familiar calm on the outside while chaos built on the inside. But holding it in doesn't make the pain disappear. It just buries it deeper, where it quietly eats away at you. And over time, you realize that the strength you're praised for is also the thing that keeps you trapped, because no one sees how much it hurts to always be the one holding it all together. You hated how people praised your silence, never knowing it was pain. You've heard it before, people calling you so calm, so patient, or so strong, as if your quiet nature is a sign of peace. But they never realized that your silence wasn't serenity, it was pain. As an INFJ, you've learned to swallow your words because explaining your feelings often feels pointless or risky. You hold it all in, and the world interprets that as composure. They praise you for being unshakable, for never making a scene, for always keeping it together. And every compliment feels like a sting because they're admiring the very thing that's breaking you. They don't see the thoughts you're wrestling with, the nights you've spent wide awake, the ache you carry in a silence that no one notices. Their praise only makes the mask heavier because it reminds you that they love the version of you that never asks for anything, the version that suffers quietly while keeping everyone else comfortable. You wished someone would notice what you never said out loud. You've spent so long hoping that someone, just one person, would look past the surface and see the truth in your silence. As an INFJ, words don't always come easily when you're hurting. You wait for the people closest to you to notice the small signs, the forced smiles, the quiet pauses, the way your energy shifts when you're holding too much inside. Deep down, you hope someone will reach out without you having to explain, because explaining feels like another weight you don't have the strength to carry. But most people don't look closely enough. They accept your "I'm fine" and move on, never realizing that you are silently asking to be seen. And that's the ache you carry, the wish that someone would care enough to notice what you've never said out loud, to see the storm behind your calm without needing you to break first. You felt like the world only loved the version of you that smiled. You started to realize that the world seemed to only embrace the version of you that could smile, stay composed, and keep everyone else comfortable. As an INFJ, you've felt the pressure to hide the messy, raw, emotional parts of yourself because they don't seem to fit what people expect from you. When you're cheerful, supportive, and easy to be around, everyone loves you. But the moment you're quiet, distant, or visibly struggling, the room feels different, like your pain is too inconvenient for others to handle. Over time, this teaches you to perform happiness, to keep that smile ready even when it's the last thing you feel. And while that mask keeps people close, it also leaves you feeling unseen, because deep down you want to be loved for your whole self, the one who smiles and the one who breaks, not just the version that makes life easier for everyone else. You broke quietly because holding it in became heavier than letting go. You reached a point where the weight of everything you were carrying became too much to keep inside. As an INFJ, you've always been the one to endure, to hold your pain in silence, convincing yourself you could handle it. But silence has a limit. Every unspoken thought, every swallowed emotion, every night spent pretending you were fine, built up like pressure behind a dam. And when it finally broke, it wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet. A private collapse, a release only you could feel. You didn't scream, you didn't rage, you simply let go because holding it in hurt more than admitting you weren't okay. And in that quiet breaking, there was both pain and relief. Pain because you had carried it alone for so long. Relief because for the first time, you allowed yourself to feel the weight instead of just surviving it. It was the moment you realized that even the strongest hearts need space to fall apart. You're learning that your strength isn't pretending. It's allowing yourself to feel. You've spent so much of your life thinking strength meant holding everything in, smiling through the pain, and pretending you were fine no matter what. But that version of strength only left you exhausted and unseen. As an INFJ, you're starting to understand that real strength isn't about masking your emotions, it's about facing them. It's giving yourself permission to cry when you need to rest when you're drained, to admit that you can't carry everything alone. Letting yourself feel doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. And with every small moment of honesty with yourself, you release a piece of the weight you've been carrying. You begin to see that vulnerability is a form of courage, that allowing yourself to truly feel is how you heal. And the more you embrace that truth, the less you need to hide behind the mask you wore for so long. If you've ever carried the weight of the world in silence, know that you're not weak for feeling. It's what makes you human. You don't have to hide behind a mask anymore. If this spoke to you, subscribe and come back whenever you need a place where your heart feels understood. Here, you're seen, even in the parts you've always kept quiet.